Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update: I am moving to my grandparents' house due to my parents' polyamorous lifestyle. Original post: I hate my parents being poly, and I want to stay away from my parents and live with my grandpa. I am 17 years old, and home doesn't feel like home ever since I was 10 years old. My parents like to hook up and date other couples. They started doing it since I was around 9 years old. I figured out when I was 12 years old, and I was snooping on my mom's phone. I admit it was wrong of me to do that, but I thought my mom was cheating, so I told my dad. They both sat down with me and said that while they love each other, they like to see other people. They assured they weren't getting divorced. However, it's like we stopped being a close family of 3, but it became me and my parents. When I was 11 years old, I started to be forced to be at Grandpa's 6.5 days each month. My parents started going on adult vacations with their adult friends more than we went on family vacations. It was extremely isolating. Their dates with other people took more of a priority in their lives. I remember my mom dating a dude when I was 14 years old. She was practically gone almost every other weekend. I have tried to tell them with how I felt. I just got responses like, "We love you, but we're more than just your parents. We have lives too." To an extent, I get that. I mean, the world shouldn't revolve around me, but it seems that this other life they have is more important than being around me. Despite being the kid, I've put so much in trying to spend time with my parents just to be pushed away. I did so recently, but I have given up. My dad hates going to Canada, so I asked my mom if we can take a short trip there, just the two of us. I asked her if we could do it anytime during August. She said she couldn't go since her and dad would have to go on a business trip. 2 days after that, I found out it was a lie. I was upstairs and my laptop wasn't working, so I asked if I could borrow hers. She said yes and told me it was in her bedroom. She had multiple tabs open. As I was working on the computer, I got an Instagram message saying, "We can't wait to see you and hubby on the trip." I opened it up and my heart broke. Apparently their business trip was vacation with another couple at an adult resort. I poured my heart out to my grandpa. He felt really bad for me. He told me to wait for my 18th birthday. It's 4 days from now, and I can't wait to leave this pathetic excuse of a family. How do I deal with the aftermath of my decision? Now for the top advice before reading the update. You're a child, their child, and they made you feel abandoned. You even tried to speak to them. They could have slowed down their lifestyle until you were 18 and able to move out, just so they'd have a better relationship with you, but they didn't. Go find happiness, OP, and your parents can go kick rocks. Neglect has many faces. My parents gave me everything I needed, except emotional skills. Yes, they are their own persons with their own struggles, but that doesn't change how I don't want to open up to them nowadays. Shouldn't it be obvious that abandoning your child for whatever reason leaves scars, especially in the developmental years? These were decisions OP's parents made, and they can defend them all they want. That won't rid them of the consequences. Little advice, OP. In a situation like this where your parents neglected you but didn't directly harm you, maybe just shift to a more transactional relationship with them. You don't need to pretend to be a loving family to stay in contact. Move out, remember the lessons from this so you don't repeat them with your own family one day, but keep in contact with your parents. There are a million reasons to maintain some semblance of a relationship with them going forward. You'll be glad you at least stayed on speaking terms after moving out one day. Agreed. OP, this next idea is hella underhanded. I think it would be awesome to tell your parents that they aren't satisfying your needs, and you've decided to seek fulfillment from other people, since they don't have the time or interest in understanding you. All with it sucks. Screw them. You deserve better than that. There's a quote that says, "Every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child." That quote is so true. A couple I distantly know is putting their 6-year-old son with the grandparents for a year so they can travel the world. You are experiencing what other abandoned kids experience. I say abandoned in this regard. Being a parent means putting your child first. You were not put first, but second to others. Your grandfather seems to put you first. You will need psychological therapy with a counselor who specializes in abandonment issues. If your biological parents say that you were never abandoned by pointing out physical things like being provided shelter, clothes, food, and so on, then purposely or not, they are confusing neglect with abandonment. Now for the update. Well, the situation got worse. Yesterday my mom asked me what I want to do on my birthday. I told her I am going to hang out with my friends after school. She asked about doing a party like last year. I said I would rather just kick it with my friends and go bowling. Then she asked if I wanted her and dad to take me out for breakfast. Again, I told them I wasn't interested. My wonderful dad told me to spend some time with them and think about us for once in a while. I guess I've been bottling up my emotions for a while now, and I was about to lose it any day soon. Well, I lost it there and then. I told my dad to shut the hell up. My parents were shocked. My mom admonished me for talking to my dad that way. Then I told her to shut the hell up too. I revealed that I knew about the trip. I straight up told them, I know these activities of yours are your own business, but it always seems those activities mattered more than me. Stop pretending you give a damn about me. I went up to my room. I could hear my mom crying downstairs. I packed my things, then called my grandpa to pick me up. My mom was worried and asked me where I was going. Then they both started following me outside the house. My grandpa was waiting in the driveway. My dad asked him what was going on, and my grandpa was pretty blunt and told him everything. Then he said he was disappointed in my dad. My dad started to get emotional and said to put my stuff back in the house and that we can talk about it. My grandpa said it was too late. Then my dad snapped and told him to not get involved, and what my grandpa is doing is illegal. My mom started to beg me to come back and said we can talk about this situation. I ignored her. I am chilling at my grandpa's home. It was only 5 minutes from my school, so I'm lucky in that way, I guess. Glad your grandfather picked you up and got you out of that house. Grandpa is a freaking giga Chad. OP, tell your grandpa, thanks, from the internet. You're nearly 18. The police aren't going to stop you from staying with your grandparents. I'm sorry it got worse. That they are so selfish and ridiculous that they threw away their child. They could have been responsible and could have still been parents and had their life, but they didn't choose that. Yep, the police ain't gonna do anything about someone that turns 18 in a couple of days. Yeah, and I don't think forcing OP back for a few days, using the police to trap them under the same roof for an attempt at forced reconciliation on their terms or timeline, is gonna do anything other than make OP burn the bridge when he is legally allowed to leave, and piss on the ashes. If Dad has any kind of brain cell, he'd realize that, and thus it was an empty threat. But yeah, once you're even uttering any kind of threat, you've lost. Well, I can't believe they told you to. Think about them for once, after they've been neglecting you for so long. Well, actually I can. Typically selfish people would turn that around on the victim they hurt. And yeah, I would have lost my cool too. I bet it felt satisfying to get it off your chest. I'm glad you were able to get it all out and that you could stay with your grandpa. Thank goodness for him. And thankfully it's even closer to school for you. I hope everything works out for you. There's zombies walking around, slaves to pleasure. I cannot imagine the shame I'd feel if my dad showed up to my house to pick up my son because I'd been making my alternative lifestyle a higher priority than my kid. Honestly, not sure I'd have time to feel shame. Pretty sure my father would have enough honor to just shoot me and then take my son, LOL. Exactly this. My father would summon strength he hasn't had since the late 90s to put me in my place. Absolutely horrifying to subject your child to that life. And that's before they checked out and decided they stopped giving a damn. Now for the last story. My male 30 fiance, female 30, cheated on me and left me for the guy. Her sister, female 23, lives with us or just me now. 2 weeks ago I came home from work early because my dad is very sick and I was just not feeling it that day. I found my wife in the living room with her coworker, the bartender at the restaurant she is the head chef at. They were splayed out, semi-clothed, and day wasted. So in total shock, I went back to work, haha. Long story short, she called me later and explained that she wanted to be with someone living a compatible lifestyle. That she was sorry for how it happened but she was leaving. I stayed at a friend's for the rest of the week, and when I finally came home, all of her stuff was gone and she left a note with her new address. I own the house and money is not an issue for me presently, so I'm trying to just move on. I wish she didn't cheat and I'm very angry and disappointed, but okay, can't make someone stay. The guy is, in my opinion, a freaking loser. So I guess I'm rethinking her judgment and my judgment, but I'm trying to get past that and just look to the future. So anyway, her sister lives in my in-laws suite because she just started law school. Our city is absurdly expensive. I told her she was welcome to stay. My former almost in-laws called because this was confusing to them since I had just ended the engagement. I said something to the extent of, no, that's not what happened, but it's not really important, and despite the termination of our relationship, sister was perfectly welcome to stay, and I wouldn't make anything weird. Ex is currently oscillating between going ballistic and accusing me of trying to turn her family against her, and begging me to take her back. What I'm getting from her sister is that she also asked her dad for a bunch of money so they could get a better apartment. He met new guy and went ballistic when he realized his daughter is in the process of making probably a very bad decision. He forced her to explain what happened and is apparently not speaking to her, which I guess caused her to wake the heck up. In the last 2 weeks, I've decided I would also like to be with someone with a more comparable lifestyle. I'm not going to take her back. I do want her sister to stay, because it's nice having someone around when I'm out of town. And I know her and she is a really good tenant. Is this a mistake? My ex just texted me saying she knows I want to bang her sister, so I dunno. Her sister has nothing to do with this, didn't know about the affair, and has offered to move out. Seems messy, but at the same time it feels like my ex is the messy one, and in a few months, none of this will matter. Thoughts? Now for the top advice. Would you like some Freud with that Shatton? Stop listening to any of the BS your ex is coming up with. She just wants to muddy the water and have some reason not to feel like a complete asswipe about this. And also, the more she messes with you, the more possible it is you lose any ounce of self-respect and take her back. So, stop paying any attention to her, she's just lashing out. The sister has done nothing to deserve anything other than respect, and she seems like she's a great tenant that you already know and have no issues with personally. I would extract a promise from her that she never lets your ex anywhere near your place, or a key to enter said domicile. She could be a weak point, but as long as she understands that if you find out she disrespected her tenancy with you, she's out, you should be good. The side deliciousness about this is the more you continue to just get on with her sister, the more it's going to boil her piss, which is a win in my book. Plus, you get to popcorn the crap show your ex is now involved in, with her disapproving family, which is great. I say keep her with you, and just enjoy your life. You actually came out of this on top and looking clean. You win. Seconding the ex is not allowed in the house rule. There's a chance she may find that difficult, and in that case she's welcome to move out. But at least OP is not forcing her on the streets out of spite. Yeah, so we actually already talked about that. I should have mentioned it, but I'm not the best writer. My only caveat with her staying was that her sister couldn't have a key to my section of the house. Sister's area has a separate entrance. I say in-law suite, but it's a full dwelling above my garage. Honestly, to the extent that I know my ex, I'm not worried about her doing something crazy to me. She'll text, she'll get upset, she'll hate it, but in a while, she'll accept it. I've known her for 15 years. But one reason why I'm rethinking letting her come around at all is, what hurts the most is, knowing this person I love gave in to her worst impulses. I don't want to see how her life goes. That's the worst part. I still genuinely want her to be okay, and so I have absolutely no freaking interest in watching her not be okay. So, I'm glad you brought this up. I have to think about it more carefully and not make a decision immediately. But right now, after reading what you said, I'm leaning hard towards just saying she can't be here. You know what? You seem like a nice guy. This is a super crappy situation, and I'm sorry your dad is sick on top of it. I think you're doing the right thing, and no matter what, it seems like you're being super thoughtful and considerate about it all. Keep going with those instincts, and you'll get through this eventually. I hope you find the right woman for you, and I hope your dad is okay. As a kid and teenager, I was pretty emotionally wild. Took me a long time to grow into a man who just sort of sits back and thinks about stuff. Thank you, I really do my best. I am really leaning on those qualities to get through it. Yeah dude, I hope it happens, but life is life, haha. Might die alone. He's okay. He's 82 and has lung cancer and just got COVID. He's doing well. These new strains aren't as hard on the body apparently. But you worry. Thank you for saying that, really appreciate it. If the sister is paying rent and is in good standing with tenancy, don't kick her out. If you don't have a formal lease, or even if you do, you can let her end the lease at any time with 30 days notice to be accommodating of her comfort. But in general, the sister is a business relationship, and the ex is personal. Makes sense to keep the two separate. It's always so funny to me when a woman leaves a guy who clearly has his act together. You know, things like a job, a house, a rental property, and the sensibility to not go insane when cheated on with a bartender. Do you think that bartender who's getting day wasted and sleeping with someone in a committed relationship in your house really has their act together in a comparable way? Sounds like she acknowledged you're too good for her and the trash took itself out. Oh, I went insane. I just did it privately. Unfortunately, I did yell at a coworker. I apologized today and explained. But I mean, he's clearly still not cool with me. I also got hammered a few nights in a row at my friend's place. Cried in front of his toddler when she gave me a piece of lettuce. I'm a human being. I'm pretty freaking drunk right now actually. Anyway, yeah, I know all the rules and stuff, but thank you for reiterating.